Do you sometimes find yourself going through the motions day to day? Does sometimes life feel boring or uninteresting or just not something you want to put your energy into? Do you ever feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do, hoping it'll all work out? Then I have to ask you, what are you passionate about? Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Wallace Russell from CoachWallaceRussell.com. Today's question is, what are you passionate about? So we'll start with the definition of the word passionate. Passionate means having, showing, or expressing strong emotions or beliefs. Is there something in your life that gets you excited? Is there something that you just find yourself going back to doing over and over again? You turn around and you're doing this again. That might be your passion. I've met people with no hobbies at all. And I feel like hobbies are an expression of one's passion. So it surprises me sometimes to meet people that have no hobbies at all, or the only thing they would consider a hobby is survival or things that would sound like survival. But when I was young, I had a lot of fun hobbies, or at least fun to me. I was a bit of a nerd, so my hobbies included reading, movies, comic books, and music. And that's sort of how I put my energy into my free time. But I had people that went much farther than I did. In the area of music, for example, I had friends who we all loved Prince. And I had friends who could buy a Prince album, and 2 weeks later, they could recite a Prince album from beginning to end. Every song, every ooh and ah, without stop. You just put the needle on the record, and they would start singing right along with Prince all the way until the entire record was done. I found that amazing. Not my hobby, though. I also had a lot of friends that had hobbies related to cars. I guess I was a boy, so that makes sense. But there were different places in cars where they had hobbies. There were slot cars, there were model cars, there were RC cars, and then there were real cars where people would put their energy into learning how to be better at making a car the way they want, working the way they want, etc. Mechanical. So they all had hobbies. And because they had hobbies, life became a little more bearable to live. Did their hobbies turn into money? No. That wasn't the point, though. The point is that having that hobby made their life exciting and enjoyable and made each day something to look forward to. Remember, having a hobby isn't something you do because you have to do it. Not because the world says you have to do it anyway, but because you have to do it because something in here calls to you, something makes you want to reach out, something that generates from within yourself. So if you have to make money to live, if that's the reason you're doing it, that's not a hobby. Making money can be a hobby, but if it comes from something external, like I gotta not be poor, or I have to do all this stuff because my job requires it, that's not a hobby. That may not necessarily even be a passion. How do you become passionate about something? Well, if you don't already know what it is, because if you already know what it is, just dig in and have fun and get bigger. And there's some steps to this. So if you already have a hobby or a passion, you can skip this first step. So the first step is find something you're interested in. And you don't have to be heavily interested in it. You don't have to be thinking about it night and day. You could just say, this is something I might like to know or might like to do, so I'm going to try it. For example, that could be a guitar. You could say, I want to learn how to play guitar. I want to be good at it one day. And so you get a guitar, not a brand new one. Nobody needs to spend that kind of money. Maybe you get a used one. Maybe you get a cast off somewhere. And so now you have a guitar and you want to learn how to play guitar. Well, you probably need to tune it first. How do you do that? Well, you find a YouTube video or some book or something that shows you how to tune it. And now you know how to tune the guitar. And you've got your guitar, your instrument perfectly tuned. And then you want to play something. And of course, you're not going to pick the most difficult thing. You don't even know if you have all the tools necessary. What do you need? Maybe you need a pick. Maybe you need some other things. Maybe you need to find the right place. And then you find that, and then maybe you need to learn how to read music. Can you do it by ear or can you do it by notes? And how do you learn how to read music? I could go on and on with this because, again, it is a process. It is a journey. This is not designed where you get to the end of it and it's over. It's designed to give you something you could put your energy and your heart into each day that can be fun. And the byproduct is you will get good or become some sort of expert to some degree at this hobby, at this passion. That's going to happen anyway. Now, if you find that you got into this and it just doesn't seem to do anything for you, that's okay. Put it to the side, find something else you might be interested in, and go into that. Try that. Step 2, learn everything you can about it. Become an expert. Be ferociously inquisitive on how to get better and how to learn more and how this works and why it works this way and what you can be good, and find other people that are good at it and see what they're doing and how they're thinking. Find some interest in that and become something more about this thing or this act or this hobby that has you grow into it. The third thing to do is find other people who have a similar hobby. They don't have to agree with you about that hobby. They don't have to match your passion. They can be more passionate than you and less passionate than you. But having a community of people around you that you communicate with and connect with, that you do something you all enjoy, is something that's fundamental to a joyful life. So having a passion is a fundamental part of having a joyful life. Having someone to share it with is another fundamental part of having a joyful life. Someone asked me once if I was bored. I answered yes. And they said, "You're not bored, you're boring. If you were exciting, you wouldn't be bored. If you had something to see, if you had something to be excited about, you wouldn't be bored. You wouldn't be living your life day to day, just sort of hanging on. You need something that ignites the fire in you. And if it doesn't come automatically, you need to find what it is and you need to get into it, dig in, and live your life going through it. Having a passion is part of having a joyful life. You have to do that. You need to do that. And if you don't know what it is, that's fine. Find one. Look for one and try one and dig into it. If that doesn't work, find another. You can actually be a person that has a passion about finding new passions. That's not a bad thing to be. Live the life that you were designed to live. More full, more filling, more loving. Find your passion and get into it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any comments or suggestions or maybe something you think we should be talking about, please put that in the comment section below. If you would consider you could use some help getting through life or setting goals or just moving forward, let's set up a free consultation. There's a link below. You set it up, it'll cost you nothing. And if I can help you, I'd really like the opportunity to do so. Once again, your attention and your time is appreciated. See you next time.